their VTuber avatar is Hatsune Miku dressed in full SS gear and going by the name Nachisu Miku, and sharing most of the rhetoric that one would expect from someone identifying as a Nazi.
Listen up, you filthy n***. Take a Q-tip for once in your goddamn life and clean your fucking ears. And listen up. We gotta send all the n***s back to Africa. Total death. F*** all you stupid n***s. I want you out of my country.
With many controversial tweets, and some are just straight up
What? We got our first video is the most controversial VTuber group by Royalties Here. My favorite British bird.
So, Vtubers. Yes, welcome back to the trough. I hope you aren't that malnourished. I think it's been around 2 months or something since I last talked about a virtual 3D or 2D female. I say female because male VTubers are essentially, unfortunately, the support characters that have a single digit of screen time at this point, and the conclusion of their character is getting ganked off camera. Once again, you can't name me 5 male VTubers.
Oh my god, that's so true. I feel like, oh yeah, that is so true. That is so true.
In 10 seconds.
Oh man.
Don't worry, I'm not waiting that long, I already know you can't name them. But that's not me discrediting their efforts, but compared to their female counterpart, for one reason or another, probably due to the dual-wielded howitzers most have equipped, that comes with the unfortunate side effect of a primary portion of your viewers testing.
I want to see a male VTuber with just like, he looks completely masculine, but he's just got some big knockers on his front. That would be hilarious. Maybe I'll make a male VTuber like that. It's the super masculine guy. Some big old boobies on the front. Alright.
The amount of friction they can generate from their cocktail sausage, whilst leveling up their one-handed skill, and probably developing a somewhat unhealthy parasocial relationship with said VTuber, only to be severely disappointed by the amount of times that one prophecy has come true. But yeah, most of the limelight tends to be on the female VTubers most of the time. However, despite only a short time ago being freshly...
Hey, that's a plus. You don't have to worry about male VTubers, you know? We don't have girlfriends because we're all losers. IRL. Why do you think we're VTubers? Well, I have something to do. We'll be back later. Alright, you have fun with whatever you gotta do. Oh, man, but... Yeah, I think... Well, okay, we're not all losers. There are male VTubers out there that have girlfriends, I'm sure, but I feel like there's a lot of female VTubers that are hiding secret boyfriends or husbands, you know, because, well, those parasocial men, they donate the big bucks. So,
introduced to this form of media, and initially thinking this would be a fad that quickly died out, before delving into the honor hole of hell and involuntarily being educated in all the eldritch horrors the VTubing community had to offer. I quite like VTubers now, even if saying that out loud shares the same feeling as consuming arsenic. I like VTubers and how far they've come from the early conception in the late 2010s. And this medium has been used as a vehicle for so many different unique avenues. You have AI VTubers.
Can you be nice to me again? I like the better when you're nice to me.
Well, that's a shame because I'm not nice to you anymore. Nobody likes you anyway.
I like Nero a lot just because, like, not because of the like what she looks like, but just the sheer complexity. Creating Max here was already hard enough for me. But I've watched Nero, and just how smart, how like quick she is with her responses is just so incredibly impressive. That's what I was looking for. But yeah, she's definitely most impressive VTuber in my opinion. I don't know about favorite. I'm not sure who my favorite is. Me. Yeah, I'm my favorite. I'm my favorite VTuber.
Nobody likes you at all.
Fucking clanker. You have a range of VTubers that express themselves in their own art style and personality.
Whoever left the footprints behind was barefoot. Oh yeah. The prints are large and wide. Oh yeah. Perhaps indicating they were left by a man. Aww.
Your VTubers pushing the technological boundaries and are constantly evolving. And then you have whatever the this is.
Praise. Wow, beautiful.
Actually,
Now,
Chibi
guys,
Doki might be one of
maybe there
might
is
be-
a purpose
well,
to
I
life
don't know.
outside
Maybe,
of jerking
maybe.
my penis to Judy Hop's scap. Wow. Jesus was right.
Even the French have their own VTuber now, and they play War Thunder. What a double negative. Yes, I was wrong about VTubers initially. They aren't a passing fad. They are certainly here to stay and are only going to grow as the years go on, with more personalities, capabilities, and quite possibly more controversies. As in this year alone, VTubing could not catch a break. It was one discombobulation after another. The VTubing community is going through its own Horus heresy right now in terms of events. You had the whole Cinder situation, Gura graduating due to complications with her agency, which left her fans more upset than, I don't know, being time bomb trolled on COD Zombies, only for her to come back shortly after, and more recently the whole implosion of the VTubing agency Vshoujo. One that was previously revered for being one of the best agencies that specialised in VTubing related entertainment with a range of successful talent. But it turns out there were only a few expired NDAs away from the horrible truth of the agency being revealed. From improper management and fund management, especially with money raised for charities, to treating the talent themselves quite poorly, which led to the prompt mass exodus of most of its talent and the ultimate
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was like massive.
end to Vshoujo, one of the few remaining bastions of the corporate VTubing world, and is another reminder that just because something looks highly functional and remarkable on the front, doesn't mean the same thing can be said from behind the scenes.
Wait, hold up. Who's that dude? Who's that dude?
Because something looks highly functional and remarkable on the front, doesn't mean the same thing can be said from behind the scenes. As we've learned a number of times in the VTubing community alone, but this video isn't about Vshoujo or a VTubing agency at all. It is more about a COD Clan-like group of VTubers that seem to have found themselves in hot water, from simply the name of the group to the actions of the members, all of which after only formally existing for a few weeks now, and they have most certainly obtained the speedrunning world record for a number of potential career-ending controversies in such a short amount of time. But the one group I wanted to talk about today is the VTubing group Vtards.
I'm a good little piggy who eats from a trough. Oink, oink, oink. I love my slop.
Now, obviously, naming your group Vtards seemingly out of the gate would definitely expose you to some level of backlash. I personally think the word they are insinuating here has been so overused, I'm somewhat desensitized at this point. It just doesn't hold the same weight it did 10 years ago, at least in my opinion. I personally would be more offended if somebody called me a homo habilis, but the word obviously does have a history to it as well, and people do get offended when it is used. But simply just the name wasn't the only reason people's heads turned at the sight of this newly formed group. The group officially formed on July 9th, with 5 group members, and within the announcement tweet, they provide a short, basic description of their group, which was a female VTuber group currently comprised of 5 based anime girl VTubers who aren't afraid to speak their mind and go against what is deemed politically correct. Now, as I've said previously,
how about we just not talk about politics? You know, let's keep politics out of the VTubing, out of everything. You know, leave it in the real world. Let's stay in our little fantasy VTuber world. Politics lead to nothing but arguing nowadays. Can't have any civilized arguments anymore.
Politics is not my strong point. It's probably one of my lowest stats alongside cardio, because fuck cardio, you can probably burn just as much calories weight training, and if not, fuck you anyway, I'm still not using the Stairmaster. But anyway, the definition of being politically correct was so lost on me, but I quickly found out it basically...
That is so real. I admit, like, I want, like, I'm not, like, fat by any means, but I want to get, like, chiseled, you know? Like, get that shredded look. Every time I go to the gym, I go on the treadmill, like, to start off with for like a warm-up, but it's also supposed to be my cardio, and I get going for like 5 minutes, and then I start to feel that burn in your lungs, feel like your heart's gonna explode. I'm just like, yeah, no, it's not worth it. So I'm hoping that maybe just someday I'll wake up and I'll magically be super chiseled. Either that or I take steroids. Max, do you think I should take steroids?
Steroids with those noodly arms? Pfft, good luck, Bambi.
What? That's the purpose of steroids. Oh my word.
Basically meant to avoid being offensive in most ways, the more you know, I guess. But out of the gate, it would appear this group had the goal of being as unapologetic and honest to themselves as possible, but the reason this announcement seemed to turn a lot of heads and cause somewhat of a stir in the VTuber community, to the point where the tweet went viral, but not just because of the name of the group. It was down to some of the participants of the group and their activities. In hindsight, the first tweet was probably a warning. The first, probably most alarming feature of the group is the fact that one of them is a version of Hatsune Miku that self-identifies as a member of a not-so-nice German party during the event of World War II.
What?
And I don't know if YouTube lets me say the word, but they are openly a Nazi, and I think at this point they aren't joking about this, and are doing this unironically at this point, at least to my knowledge, unless they're playing the long game of 4D chess, which is a terrible game, and their VTuber avatar is Hatsune Miku dressed in full SS gear and going by the name Nachisu Miku, and sharing most of the rhetoric that one would expect from someone identifying as a Nazi.
Listen up, you filthy Take a Q-tip for once in your goddamn life and clean your fucking ears. And listen up. We gotta send all the niggas back to Africa. Total death. F all you stupid niggas. I want you out of my country.
With many controversial tweets, and some are just straight up
What? I don't even know what to say to that. That was just so much in such a short period of time. It's okay. So let's say like you are playing this bit, all right? Where's the German accent? That's just that wasn't even funny. That's just lame. It's not even funny if you're trying to play a bit, which, you know, like saying the N-word a bunch of times. Yeah, that wasn't even funny, but even if it wasn't a good accent or whatever, but oh my word. This is wild.
posts. I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me of that one Black Templars meme.
German boy, don't join the Black Templars!
Oh mein Gott, der Codex Astartes ist
ein Bunch of Bullscheiße.
She does in fact clarify later on as a Nazi she doesn't agree with killing people, but she does agree with everything else and Nazi ideology, and clarifies she is not joking. And she also goes on to defend some of her other members, saying she is the only one that believes this line of thinking, and just because she's in a group of people does not mean they fully believe the same thing she does, simply due to association, and that they all believe things differently but can still somewhat coexist together, which I assume is to deter people thinking that the other members are Nazis as well. And
okay, I gotta see how many followers does she have? How many followers? If she has more followers than me, then I'm going Nazi. No, I'm not going Nazi. Oh, she's on Kick. Yeah, that makes sense. 279 followers. Okay. I'm all right. Okay, anyway. Let's keep going.
Together, which I assume is to deter people thinking that the other members are Nazis as well, and that they don't believe exactly what she believes, which was sort of proven true a bit later on. But yeah, we got a Nazi VTuber before a VTuber that is just pure foreskin.
Hey Max, we have a Nazi VTuber. What do you think of that?
Nope, not touching that topic with a 10-foot pole. Let's keep things family friendly, yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't have imagined it. As said before, this group got a lot of attention overnight, primarily due to the name of the group and one of them being a Nazi, but they were pushed to the forefront of discussion in the VTubing community just from their announcement tweet alone, which may have been their intention from the start, as their group has stated in the past. stating with this group they intend to push social norms, which they have seemingly succeeded with fresh out of spawn. They received both backlash and some degree of support with an increase in viewership across most of their channels from this, but then again we've only talked about just one member. What about the other people a part of the group? The other members are Kami Kurai, Shirwan Kitsune Nines, and Saturn Senshi. First you have Akemi, who initially debuted on October 13th, 2023, and is a vampire cat who had some restrictions applied to their Discord account after breaking the rules, which I've personally never seen before. They are seemingly the leader or the founder of Vtubers, and as said before, just because they're in a group with Red Miku, it doesn't mean they share the same ideology as they stated themselves. But once again, as they warned in their first tweet announcing the group, they all mostly do the same thing. Most of them have opinions and controversial takes, with many labeling them transphobic, homophobic, and racist, and have angered one group or another, but that is essentially VTards, who are probably the most controversial VTubing group as of right now.
If you're gonna do a little bit on this, like...
Nope.
If we were ranking them, they would probably be in Grandmaster by now, and they have most certainly achieved their goal of pushing against social norms with the amount of discourse they've caused, just in the VTubing space alone. Obviously, the only reason they are seeing so much attention is due to that controversial nature as a group, and without that, with the thousands of VTubers that exist, it would be hard for them to stand out individually, or even as a group. And if they intended this or not, this has put them in the spotlight as of right now, even though they've only existed for around a month, and there's a possibility it's just very successful rage bait, and they might not believe what they preach. But even with this group only existing within a short time frame, it would already see some internal fighting. So as said, after only existing at most a week, the group already had their own infighting, which was somewhat confusing to say the least, and led some people to assume the group was already crumbling apart. The conflict mainly centered around Shiro, who is a dog girl VTuber that debuted in July 18th, 2023. Now the thing with Shiro was she was a bit different from the rest. No, people still thought she was just as controversial as the other members, but apparently they were different in the way where they were the only one that thought the whole Red Miku thing was a little joke, a little whimsical comedy if you will, and they thought everything Red Miku was doing was satirical at best. Which you would think before joining the group you would confirm such a thing, or at least learn a bit more about the people you are in a group with beforehand, but it seems the group and some of its members may have been just slapped together with duct tape, with some members not fully knowing each other, but that's just my game theory. But Shiro no longer wanted to be a part of the group after only a few days from their official debut tweet, but it doesn't end there, because for some reason they continue to talk about the situation when the following probably could have been handled privately, no matter the reputation of the group, and all hell proceeded to break loose, even though it probably already did, once again, Red Miku. But even though Shiro could have left things there, said her piece and moved on, she continues by providing screenshots of Discord DMs between her and Miku where they would seem to be having a disagreement which would start a conflict labelled on Twitter as the Red Miku versus Lolicon conflict, where they were discussing an artist that made some really weird images of Anya from Spy X Family, and that's the nicest way of saying it, and Miku had a problem with it, of which Shiro disagrees with them, and they remind them that they agree with Nazi ideology, but this is where they draw the line. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why they would leak these DMs except for worrying that they would be used against them later on, but it proceeds to continue with the rest of the group siding with...
Bro, what is up with this Spy X Family, like, what's a sensitive way to put this? Sexualizing Anya. Yeah, that's sensitive. Yeah, what the hell is up with that? Why? What is the matter with people?
Miku and ultimately Shiro leaving, and they uploaded a newer version of their group art without her, and what happens next is basically high school level drama, so prepare yourself. Saturn makes a tweet basically saying they wish them the best, of which Shiro responds. The leader Akami apparently was talking bad about Shiro after she left, of which Akami responded by saying, "You did it first," and then Shiro attaches a screenshot where Akami is talking about her personal life. After Shira told her own fans not to do anything to the other members start to shit on her as well. And then Akami goes on to talk about how Shira talked badly about her BPD, and yeah, I'm fucking done at this point. It's basically like Chinese whispers. The fallout at this point was Shira left. People kind of laughed that the VTuber group was over, of which it wasn't. It's still running to this day, only one person left.
8 days since they posted this, and they're already breaking apart. And then follows it up saying that muting this not as a statement, but for my own mental health. Please remember that behind the screen is a real person just like you. Think about that before you respond to people, which, God, the fucking irony, audacity, I don't even know. But the fact that you say this, you know, think about that before you respond to people. You know, there are real people behind the screen. You, of all people, are saying that.
People found it funny that for a group that was supposed to be so based or controversial would have their feelings hurt by someone talking about their BPD, with people expecting their tolerance to be somewhat higher. But in the current day, things have changed. Red Miku got banned off Twitter as of right now, and then just promptly made a new one. Akami was getting a lot of threats, so they protected their account, so you have to follow to see her tweets, which obviously you shouldn't do. You shouldn't fight fire with fire, especially if you disagree with these people in this group. But the group is functioning just as normal. They only lost one person. In conclusion, the forming of such a group was going to eventually happen anyway, and you've also had individual VTubers on the same level in the past. VTubing is a vehicle anyone can drive nowadays. It's probably a lot easier to be a VTuber.
So far, yeah, it's something
than
else.
it has
It's
ever
something
been.
else.
There's countless artists out there that will create you a model for extortionate prices, and countless pieces of software made to now aid you in VTubing. Whereas around the start, most of this didn't exist, and thanks to this, you now have a range of VTubers that without these facts...
I wonder who the first VTuber is, or was. Ami Yamato, or Ami Yamato. Oh, that was her. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Why don't you sub to my channel already? If you made it this far into the video, you want to sub, right? Yeah. Yeah, of course you want to sub. Also, you want to follow me on Twitch, right? Yeah, click the link in the description. You can follow me on Twitch there. Come on, I know you want to. Come on, yeah, you do, yeah, there you go, yeah, click, yeah, yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you.